Hey guys, I'm RozaldVaneGAME, and welcome back to another episode of Eliza. This is hopefully the last episode, the last video for the series. I did take a break in terms of going into another day, recording this on a different day, hence the reason why I'm wearing a different shirt and everything. Yeah, otherwise, let's continue this one and see where this is going. I don't know if this is like an ending based on what I chose in Chapter 6. I did look for the chapter select to kind of restart chapter 7 a little bit, but it seems like it disappeared, so I'm assuming that a lot of this is really just played out based on decisions made in the game. I might be wrong, but I mean, that's how I feel is the case with this game, but who knows. Anyways, let's get into it. The flames shudder and wobble as they begin to spread the logs, which crackle and hiss at the heat. After a while, the wildly leaping flames begin to steady themselves, and we settle in around the pit.
Ah, fire. Agent of destruction and creation.
Something nice about a campfire deep in the woods, isn't there?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming out here with me. I know camping isn't really your thing. Well, I mean, not Evelyn's thing, but I don't know about you, Nora.
Maybe a couple times, when I was a kid.
I thought maybe since we're in pretty deep on all the things we're working on right now, we could all use it. Because I used to, when things got really bad, I'd come out into the woods and just be there.
It's funny because I had a friend who did the exact same thing where he, I believe he, oh god, the sound went off because I spent too long just being on the scene. Yeah, I think it was like, he wanted to take a break to find himself, and he went to the woods for like a whole like summer, I think it was. So he was like, I was like super isolated, or maybe not a month, not the whole summer, but like just 1 month where he isolated himself from the world or something, and it was just like interesting to see people really willing to put themselves out there and just not be connected to the world for a while, and come back be like completely rejuvenated and such, I guess. But yeah.
And it helped me, so I thought maybe it would help you too. I don't know if it'll inspire you or what, but if more people could experience something like this, something with the same meaning it holds for me.
It is nice. Honestly, I've been doing all right. Better than before, that's for sure. Finals are soon, but I'm not too worried.
Evelyn's got her dissertation to finish up.
Oh, how's that going, Evelyn?
It's also interesting because this is the time during when all three were still working together, before Eliza was realized, I guess. Yeah, it's really interesting to see, like, the way they speak, I guess.
Oh, Nora. Nah, I know. You're not supposed to ask how the dissertation is going.
Is that a rule?
Pour me that drink anytime.
I see.
Yes, let's have a drink. I'm still kind of freezing, even with this fire going.
Nora reaches for her backpack and pulls out a thermos. She pulls out plastic cups and pours into them a warm, dark liquid. I'm thinking coffee? Tea? I don't think tea, but I'm pretty sure coffee for sure. But I don't think there would be a warm That's weird if you drink warm wine in the middle of the forest. That'd be interestingly weird. Or maybe hot chocolate. I don't know. I highly doubt it, though, because hot chocolate isn't dark. It's, like, usually light.
Okay, this is delicious. I've never actually had mulled wine like this before.
Oh, it is wine.
No? In my family, we always had it around this time of year.
You take red wine and add, what? Cinnamon, orange?
Yeah, those, and cloves, and, anise, star anise, and honey.
Ooh.
That's it. Quite simple.
It's really warming me up.
Is that really actually a thing? Is that really actually a drink you can drink? I never knew that. That's a first. And I think mulled wine is like warm wine, not like... Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing that's the case.
That's what it's for. Ugh, so good. Evelyn, you doze off or something?
No, I'm awake. I was just looking at the fire. Kind of staring at it, I guess.
What do you see?
Everyone. People. Us.
I don't know what that means.
I think if we were going to make something to help people, it would be something that helped them see themselves.
Oh, is this explaining why Evelyn chose to, like, do the things or make this app the way she did, I guess. Maybe like this is like the peak moment of truth behind why Eliza exists between all three individuals. I think maybe it looks like it.
Something that reflected back on them somehow. Just a thought. It's probably nothing.
No, I like that though. Yeah, something to help you reflect. I think that's the right track. I'm really looking forward to working on these ideas with you two. And just as soon as all this nonsense with school is over.
Everyone regards the fire in silence for a while, sipping Nora's mulled wine.
There's so many bad things happening in the world right now. But I don't know, somehow, for some reason, I feel like the future is going to be okay. I don't know why, I have this feeling that we're the ones. We're the ones who are going to fix it. Not we, like, you or me, but I mean, like, our generation.
Perhaps.
Interesting. This is a hard one to make. This is a hard decision to make. Think positively, think neutrally, and then think negatively. I'd say neutrally for now.
Maybe we will.
The important thing is to try.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to try.
Sometimes you get tired of trying. Well, at least I do.
I wonder what things will be like 10 or 20 years from now. Will we have achieved our goals? What would we say to each other? What would we say to our younger selves?
Oh, that sucks because Damien never made it out to 10 years either. Damien. Just thinking of him saying that just makes me a little bit sad because we know the truth behind what happened to him, but
the future we want, the future we're trying to create, did it even happen?
Damien looks up to the sky.
Future selves, tell us if it happened, okay? Come back in time, just tell us that you made it happen, please.
Ugh.
Damien.
It's the wine.
Yeah.
It's more than just the wine.
I'm just interested in the future, that's all. My future, your future, humanity's future. Of course, right now, the only future I can picture is the headache I'm gonna have tomorrow morning, but...
No reason to worry about it now.
You know what, you're right. I'll have some more.
Of course.
I think I'm passing out.
Oh,
Well, it is pretty late.
Good night, Evelyn.
All right, good night, Evelyn.
I don't see a tent anywhere, but I'm assuming they're just sleeping on the ground somewhere.
Hey, I know you've been working hard, so have a good rest, okay? You deserve it.
It's kind of like a metaphorical, like, saying to the whole story, I feel like. Oh, imagine Darren is actually Damien, but an embodiment of Damien, I guess. It could be. But at the same time, it is true that Darren is a reflection of Damien to some capacity because he's a programmer. Darren is a programmer. He is looking at the world as within himself and figuring out why his work isn't helping others and kind of like that. And I'm assuming this is what it is that Darren is Damien, but he's just a copy, like a replication of what he believes in, what Damien believes in.
Hello, Darren.
Or that he is like maybe the brother of Damien. That would be interesting too. That'd be super interesting.
Hi.
It's nice to see you again.
Thanks. You guys sent a lot of reminders.
Oof.
I was ignoring them for a long time, but I decided to come back.
So I'm assuming this is actually the I think Evelyn returns up being Eliza, or working for Eliza as a proxy, but I'm not entirely sure because the way she said it the way she talks sounds like she just became a counselor rather than Eliza.
Weirdly enough.
It's been a while since we last spoke.
A long, long while.
How have you been since our last session?
I mean, ups and downs, right? Everybody has ups and downs.
Indeed.
Sometimes I feel like I'll be fine, and I'm just ridiculous for getting caught up in something like this, and then sometimes I am caught up in it. And it feels like getting pulled under the ocean, getting sucked down inside this vortex, and you can't breathe or move or anything. Tossed around underwater. Nothing you could do. So I went to a psychiatrist, and got the medication you recommended, but it was a couple of months before I actually took it.
Oh.
For some reason, I couldn't bring myself to. Not right away.
That's totally fair. I think that he needed to resolve himself before he actually decides that it's the right thing to do for the medicine thing. I mean, sometimes you might not want to take it because you don't feel like it's necessary yet, but I think it's all up to the mental capacity of getting ready to do the thing to make sure that choices be made the way you want it to be.
Why do you think you weren't able to start right away?
I don't know. I might have been afraid. Afraid it would change me somehow? Or that I would be dependent on it, or that I was weak for needing it?
Also, I'm thinking, I realized there's no Eliza UI on the screen, so I'm assuming this is actually not Eliza, but us as Evelyn the counselor. Like, we're just the human counselor, and I think that Eliza probably shift off of using tech and just relied on themselves, or the people themselves, to do the counseling versus the other way around. Which, I think it's a better choice than doing Eliza, really, honestly.
But eventually I just got tired of feeling like shit all the time. Just tired of it. And I figured I had nothing left to lose. I either try it or go on like before, right? So I did, and it was interesting.
Fair.
How was it interesting?
Well, it definitely didn't solve my problems, you know? I mean, it didn't fix me or fix the fact that the world is the way it is. It didn't turn me into someone else, even though I might have wished it could. It definitely didn't make me happy or fill the void or anything, but it did do something, I think. I think it helped me realize that it's possible to feel different. I got a glimpse of something, of what life could be like. You know, a life where what I know is still true, but I'm just more okay with things. I don't even know if that's better, really. Listening to myself now, it's a little weird to talk about being okay with all the problems going on in the world, but maybe there's a way to acknowledge the truth without it hurting so much. So am I just numbing myself? You know, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure I want to continue with the medication, but, well, anyways, I have plenty for now, so I think I'll just, use it up and make a decision then.
I think the medicine is not helping him, though. I think he's just still kind of lost. And I think this is also a point where... where what Damien said about, like, us passing it on to the generation or making the generation better and stuff. I think this is where Darren is coming in, where we can probably influence him or invite him to that idea that he can change the world to... based on what he's doing, I guess, maybe. Excuse the plane that's flying in the background. I don't know if the microphone picked that up, but yes.
Let me know if you'd like to try something different.
Oh god, more recommendations.
I can make more recommendations. It's important to find the right balance that works for you.
Okay, sure, yeah. At one point I read an article that said some people are just naturally happy and other people are naturally more sad. So I wondered if I just happen to be a sad person.
I don't know if that's true, though. I guess it's true in some capacity that there are more people who could be happy and more people who can be sad. But those people who are sad are just, like, the ones who are medically depressed. Like, they're just, like... or psychologically depressed. Like, they just had something that traumatized them to be that way forever, almost. In my viewing, of course. I'm not saying I know. I'm not a psychologist myself. I'm not a doctor. But I'm just, like... I mean, I don't think that everybody is always happy, and I don't think everybody is always sad, so it's just the level, like, it's a level of where they're at some point in life, so I think that's the point of what he should be thinking, but, okay.
And if that was the case, then maybe that's just me, how I am naturally.
Yeah, indeed.
But then I thought, no, something feels wrong about that. This isn't just a kind of melancholy. It's the way I've been, the way I've felt. It's too much. It's not a way to live. So I need to figure this out, whatever it is.
Something is putting him down, I think, but he's not too sure where the source of the problem is. So,
do you feel you are on the path to figuring it out?
Maybe not. Listen, the real reason I'm here is to say thank you, not to Eliza, but to you. I had a bad outburst last time, and I got emotional, and I just wanted you to know it wasn't your fault.
I understand.
You told me your name, and I won't forget that. Just a little moment of kindness, connection. Look, it was the smallest, simplest thing, but it meant a lot to me for some reason. I think about it a lot. I know you don't make much money, and thank you, Evelyn. Thank you for listening to me. You know, the more I go through the world, those little moments. It's those little moments. Sorry, I'm just rambling.
It's totally fine, but at the same time, he does need a friend on his... I think that's what's going on, is just he just doesn't have anybody to go to at this moment. He's just using this as a way to connect to someone because he feels disconnected from the world in general. Yeah, I mean, it could happen where you're just like, you're always working with people, but you don't end up like feeling like working with people is like equating to a connection in life. You just feel like they're just there because they're there for other purposes and stuff like that. And this guy is just feeling that, I think. I don't know. Just kind of bad. Sad.
Please, go ahead. Talk about whatever's on your mind.
Hell yeah.
No, that's it. That's it.
Alright.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you. I like how she just like cuts off on the thank you. She's just like, thank you, Darren.
I'm glad your medication seems to be helping. Let me know anytime if you have updates you'd like to share.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling partner. Goodbye.
Oh,
Goodbye.
and there's no app to it either, which is kind of strange to me a little bit. Wait, what? I don't get it. There's no HUD or anything. Is this... What? Is it broken? I don't know what's going on. I'm clicking everywhere. I think it is broken. I think I might have broken it or something might have broken before it. Let me double check this. It might have overwent somewhere. Actually, no. Let's go to the title menu. Actually, title screen, and then press continue if that works the way it does. To kind of refresh the there it is. There's the whole thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, the HUD was there. It's just apparently was hiding, I guess. Holy hell, this guy tipped 100. So we did kind of probably still broke the script to some capacity, I guess, but we had it where it's different. All right. So we came back to Eliza. We're kind of the same.
Evelyn,
almost.
that guy. Wasn't he the client from a while back?
Let's read this, I guess. Counseling program. Dear Miss Ishino Aubrey, it was a pleasure to meet you recently to discuss your interest in the Master of Science degree in mental health counseling. Oh. As I noted, this course of study is designed to prepare its students to pursue licensure and employment as mental health counselor in various settings, including addiction, treatment centers, community-based organizations, and private practice. We feature small class sizes, an accessible and highly regarded facility, and a number of internship partners for real-world experience. You mentioned your background in computer science, which might be seen as somewhat unusual for someone interested in leading a licensed mental health counselor. In my experience, counselors come from all walks of life and situation. At Viridian, we are interested in developing highly skilled, rigorously ethical, and profoundly effective counseling from a wide variety of culture and socioeconomic background, who will work to benefit their wider communities. To this end, your experience in the technology industry does not strike me as any more unusual than most of the other students in the program. On the contrary, your perspective as someone who has worked to address mental health from an angle of computer science would be a welcome addition to our program. I encourage you to apply. Okay, so basically somebody was inviting her to apply for the master's degree in mental health counseling, I guess, or mental health, basically. That's really cool. I'm glad that they invited her to do the thing. Also, I don't know why the funky UI was messed up with the whole thing. I hope it didn't change or break anything, like, too crazily there.
The one who scared you on your first day?
Yeah, it was. He seemed a lot better this time around.
Low.
He was taking his medication, making an effort.
That's what I love about this job. Seeing people start to get better. Makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, maybe it does.
I'm surprised that they also invited her back. I'm just surprised that Evelyn got the job back, even though she was terminated after 3, like, break-offs of the scripting.
So, have you
Of the
found a
scripts.
school yet?
I've found at least one that seems promising. I need to get my materials together to apply.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you, Evelyn. I'll miss you when you're gone, but I think you're making the right choice for yourself. It's funny how you came to counseling through trying to automate it at first. What a good story. I can just see the article someone would write on you.
Fair?
It's a little early for that.
Yeah.
I just hope I can do well.
I'm sure you will, Evelyn. I know you will.
There are so many things I learned just recently. I realized you don't need to play life like a game you're trying to win. I realized the contribution you make to the world isn't always about having the largest effect possible. You don't need piles of money or a case full of awards. Grandiose projects have unintended consequences. Sometimes, the best you can hope to do is help people, one by one, in your own way. Sometimes, just listening to someone is its own reward. Those are the components of a satisfactory life. It's a life I intend to build for myself, starting today.
I'm guessing that's the end of it. Yep. That's it for Eliza. Written and directed by Matthew Seiji Burns. Okay. I mean, I don't know what to say about those names, I guess. I don't know why I was thinking about saying something about it. Yeah, I don't know. My brain was blank, and I was just like, I'm gonna say something about it. Wait, I don't think there is anything to say about it. Oh, he made music and sound, too. Wow, that's interesting. Casting, director. I am kind of curious, yeah, who the cast is. I've never... Ailey... Kai... I think the voice actress for Evelyn was pretty cool. I think her voice sounds like an actual, like... legitimate, like... AI machine talking to you kind of thing. It's kind of interesting. Phil Wang was Harriman? Oh my god, I'm so surprised. It's like... because it doesn't sound like an Asian person. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's like... it's interesting because I didn't think of it like that. And it's translated in different languages, which is also amazing. Alright, so this has been Eliza. I want to say thank you guys for joining me on Eliza for this run of a short, not really that short, but short series, I guess. 20 episodes is only because I spent a lot of the episodes talking and kind of reflecting of like how I feel about myself. Oh man, that's amazing. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time in this episode, in this series, talking about in relations to myself as a player, or a person outside of the game, and how it connects deeply or relates deeply to who I am. Let me see if there's... Yeah, there's no Chapter 7, which is the interesting part. The Chapter 7 is really determined by, I think, the decision, I think. Like, some of the decisions you make probably gives you a different ending for Chapter 7, but some of the parts of the Chapter 7 is probably... true to the part where they sit in the campfire. The campfire part, I'm thinking, is the same across the board, and I think the last session is probably a little bit slightly different based on what you did in Chapter 1, I think. But otherwise, I think the ending part where Ray talks to us and everything is probably different entirely, based on what you choose and the decision of it all. But ultimately, I think that... yeah, I think that this game has served a really good purpose of making you think, and it stays true to what I always think about video games as. Like, I think video games is a good medium to help you think, help you, like, open up conversations with others with, and I think this is definitely one of those things where it relates to me the most, because of the fact that it's towards a place. The game takes place in a place that I've been to, that I went to school for, that I know the industry at some capacity level, based on the stuff that they talked about, and it relates a lot to what I do these days and stuff like that, and what I think about these days. And I really appreciate their take on the whole like industry as a whole for the tech industry. I think this explores a lot about mental health, tech industry, and interpersonal like relationship with people who works with you and who like does a thing with like the person of like the person of interest, I guess. But the one thing I kind of disliked about this game a little bit, I'm not saying this game is perfect and all, but it pretty much didn't feel like there was a lot of choices that was to be made in this game. Like, I felt a lot of times we had a lot of chance to get some kind of choice, like break script and everything, but that break script only came at the end, which satisfied me at the very end, which I don't know if that payoff was good enough for me as a player to be like interested in the payoff at the end. I wish there was like minute things that kind of carried on further, but obviously it would be too much work, obviously, for branching narrative and like having to keep track of like what the player did XYZ and like stuff like that, carrying on into different chapters and stuff like that. So they had to make sure that it's linear to the most of the capacity, and then the last part could be as branching as it could, which is fine. But I'm saying that I feel like it's just a lot of it is just kind of like the pseudo branching feeling. Like it lets some options in there, but it ultimately doesn't do much beyond just changing what the character interaction would say in terms of the other person on the other side of the room. What else is there? I also disliked one more thing, and that was and this is the last one, but I'm trying to remember or how to I'm trying to remember what it is, but also to word it properly, because I don't want to make sure I want to make sure it's not a bad thing in my mind, because I think it might be weirdly worded. I might be misinterpreted. What was it? It's not too slow. The pacing is okay, I think. You can kind of go at your own pace, kind of thing. Yeah, there we go. Now I remember. Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember now. It tries to hide a lot of stuff under the hood very, very early on by giving us and throwing us hints. I feel like the hint sprinkling of Evelyn's past was a little bit too weird to me as a person. I mean, sometimes the storytelling in terms of sprinkling the character that you are basically playing as is nice, but it's hard because you're trying to distinguish. Like, a lot of the times when I had to make decisions, I had to think about it as either Eliza, like I'm either being Eliza or I'm either being myself. A lot of the decision points in the game never truly makes me want to feel like Eliza, because I always had to think of it like who I am as a person. And that's the hard part, I think, is that Evelyn is her own person, her own character, but it's hard to be her if we're trying to follow her as in her shoes. So we're always at a point where we're thinking for ourselves, but also reflecting ourselves onto Evelyn and how she would be able to take us as the player forward into the story. And I think that's the hard part, is that this game doesn't really do just that, where it allows the whole of Evelyn being told to the player, like, what the hell, like, who she is and stuff like that, or what her past is, kind of thing. But instead they revealed it slowly, ever so slowly, and then also, like, Damien's past with her, and what she's done in the 3 years, why she went off in 3 years. Like, those are all sprinkling of, like, clues of what she's been through, but the problem was that there wasn't too much of, like, a way to kind of, like, steer us into the dock of like knowing who she is personally or fully, and then being able to like understand like fully what personality we want to give her, or kind of connecting how her history could play out her personality in a way. And I think that's hard for us, or that's hard for the players to kind of read through that part of the thing. It's like read between the lines, basically, is what it is. But yeah, otherwise I really respect the developers for putting a lot of voice acting to this. I think there's a lot of lines to be read in this, and I'm very totally convinced by every character's lines. There was no character who was like out of like there was no characters that went offline or off anything that felt that was like needing to change. Like they didn't have anything that really like hurt the experience, I feel like, because everyone's voice acting was really well done. There was a lot of text, obviously, with reading on the side with a phone, and there's like the extra mini game, which is really cool too. The extra mini game I felt was a little bit too much, but it's like whatever, I guess. It's like just to keep the player staying for hours in the game, which is fine. I totally understand where the point of that is, and also having that one achievement that's related to that is fine, whatever. Otherwise, I think that I would definitely recommend this game if anybody is willing to take a slow-paced story and just like, you know, sit with it and stuff like that, and then have like a much more linear experience almost, or want to see something different, I guess, that's like related to one of the western states of America in a sense. Like this is kind of like almost exactly like a feeling of being in Washington State in terms of like being on the train. Was an interesting point to see. Some of the buildings and structures are pretty much cool and stuff like that, and they're relatable in the sense of what I've seen before. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, I recommend it. I'll leave a link to it down below with all the versions of Eliza, like any platforms that are on, that this game is on, and you guys can check them out on yourselves with the appropriate websites that will take you to buying this game, either, I guess mostly digitally, I would say. I would usually link a digital version of the game. Otherwise, I want to thank Eliza developers for making this wonderful game. I think the developers of this game is the same developers who made the programming games. I forget which the titles are, but they had a lot of like a lot of games in the past that they've worked on that were like programming related. But this is I think their first time doing a narrative-based game, a visual novel narrative-based game. I think I might be wrong. But yeah, otherwise I'll leave a link to this game, Eliza, for anybody who's interested in buying it for themselves and seeing the different things you can click on that is outside of just the ones I've selected. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for Eliza. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys in another series, in another game that I've played on the channel. I'll probably put a end screen annotations or something. I don't know what exactly yet, but we'll see. But I'll put that up, and then you guys can check that out, and then hope to see you guys on those things. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next video or another video of mine. Hope you guys have a great, amazing day, week, and night, or whenever watching this. And that'll be it for me today. Roz, out.